What's up, guys? We are continuing with our choke or strangulation series, whatever you want to call it, and we're looking at the very common Ezekiel choke. Now, I'm going to be the devil's advocate in this video, and I'm going to show you how to do this slightly different. There is nothing wrong with us doing it the traditional way, which is 4 fingers inside and chopping. But we're going to run into a couple of issues when we want to do this, and in line with our lazy jiu-jitsu style, we want to make sure that we can do this as efficient and as effective as physically possible. And when it comes to choking, remember, if you watch any of the other videos, we always talk about not making a choke a threat to our opponent. We want to make them think that they are safe before the choke is on, and they either tap or they nap. So, if Jesse comes on his knees here, I'm going to try to explain this mechanism to you as best as possible from a couple of different angles. So what we're going to do, instead of feeding 4 fingers, we're going to feed 2 fingers. A 2-finger grip is incredibly important when we do particular chokes because it has to do with the anatomy of the hand and the muscles of your forearm. Whereas when I do the Ezekiel choke with 4 fingers, the weakest point of my hand is always going to be my pinky. It's very easy, especially if the person is starting to bridge you, to start losing that grip and that force. Okay? So, what we're going to do is come up like this. What we're going to do here is that we are, face this way please. From here, we're going to grab 2 fingers inside. I'm going to feed my hand across and come over. When I'm over, I'm going to grab my own gi. Here, I'm going to close my 2 fingers in this way. I'm going to close my fingers. When I'm here, it's already tight. I've got an anchor with this hand gripping my own gi just around my biceps. What I'm going to do now, instead of chopping, I'm going to start rotating. I'm going to grip, it's already tight. I'm going to start rotating my pinky down towards my bum. With Jesse's bum in this instance. From here, rotate, down, down. If I chop, I lose control of my opponent and there's a lot less tension. I want to stay close and rotate. So, sorry, we'll choke in a punch. Here, we're rotating, and with my hand here, I'm also rotating. That's going to minimize the space very much. So if we look at this from a mounted position, so if you lay down like that, come this way here. Come this way. Alright, so we found ourselves in mount, and the issue that I'm running into here when I'm in mount is that if I have my Ezekiel here, and I want to move across, and I want to chop, I can't chop because the ground is there. So I want to make sure that when I do this, I have a 2-finger grip, I move across here, I grab my own gi. Now I don't need to move away from my opponent. I'm very strong here, I can put my head on the ground and I'm just going to twist. I'm not running the risk of pushing myself away or anything similar here trying to chop his neck because I'm only going to get so far. And the other beautiful thing here, when I have this grip, if Jesse traps my right arm and my right leg here and he bridges me over, when I'm here now in this position, I'm much stronger and it's going to be a lot harder for Jesse to start posturing up. So if this is the case, I'm in mount, I have this kind of grip, I'm not afraid of being bridged because I'm not going to lose the choke. So from here, we have to remember when someone wants to posture up, they want to exactly right. They want to push the top of their head to the ceiling, which if I'm here and I talk my hand down, he can't move his neck that far. It's physically impossible. So if he tries to posture up really hard, I'm just going to follow him up and start talking on both sides of his neck. Simultaneously, I'm going to use my legs to bring Jesse towards me and then choke. So now let's compare that to if I have a 4-finger grip here, and I'm in this position. Now, if I try to chop, I'm actually going to push his head up to the sky. And it's not going to be that much of a choke. It's uncomfortable, but he can stay there for quite a long time. So here, 2 fingers, grabbing your own gi. I'm like a koala from the front. If you try posturing up, I'm just going to talk down like so with my pinky, and then talk down here. So this is, if you wanted, the new age 2-finger Ezekiel Choke. The line of force through my forearm in either direction is always stronger here, straight through my thumb as well. It's identical to a bow and arrow choke as an example. Now, if I'm doing a cross collar choke from the front, I don't use that grip. Very, very different, guys. But for chokes like an Ezekiel choke or a bow and arrow, where we want to torque the gi around their neck to maximize the choking pressure, we want to make sure that we use 2 fingers. So use 4 fingers, do the chopping movement. If you feel like you can do that, do that. If you feel like you're struggling with this, I highly recommend trying a 2-finger grip, grabbing your own gi, talking with both hands. So I'm here, I'm going to talk like so. You see how the space disappears in between my hands? And that's the choke. So it's 1, typewriter, 2, choke. 1, typewriter, 2, choke. Very simple. 2 fingers, whoosh, typewriter, grip, and talk. If you have any questions, put them below and we will get back to you. Sick, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, I prefer that.